Hi guys and welcome to Horologique. Today we will see this all-new Pagani 1677 Sea Dweller Homage with 300 meters of water resistance and a Helium Escape Valve. And according to Pagani Design, this is a functional Helium Escape Valve. This will be the first impressions video, and later, if there's enough interest, we will do a full video about this timepiece. And as you can see, the aesthetic is pretty much the same as the 11660 Sea Dweller, but without the protection ring around it. Dimensions-wise, this is a big boy. I measure it at almost 44 millimeters in diameter. Pagani Design say 43, but I measure it at 44. I measure it at 15.8 millimeters in thickness, 51.2 in lug to lug. This bracelet has a solid part, and if I measure from here to here, I get 55.4 millimeters. The lug width is 21 millimeters, weirdly enough. Why 21 and why not 22? As you can see, the bracelet juts out to meet the curvature of the lugs, which makes it go from 26 at this point up to 21.4 at the end of the bracelet. And at the sign clasp, it goes back to 26. So quite big dimensions, but which is natural because this is trying to mimic the Rolex Sea Dweller. So you can see how this watch wears on my 16.5 centimeter or 6.5 inch diameter wrist. As you can see, it wears not too bad for such a big watch, but this watch is supposed to be big. And here you can see that even though those dimensions are really big, the fact that that bracelet hugs the wrist directly kind of hides that bigness. However, you will notice this watch on your wrist. If we quickly look at the dial, you see that you have a sunburst dial. In the upper part of the dial, you have got a Pagani Design. You know that I'm not a fan at all of that strange branding. And you have their new logo. At the bottom part of the dial, you have got automatic water resistant 300 meters, 1000 feet. And below, written in very small letters, you have Japan movement, because this carries, of course, the Seiko NH35. The hands are your usual maxi dial hands, and the good thing here is that contrary to their previous Pagani Design 43 Submariner Homage, here the hands seem to be adapted to this big watch. If you look at the minute hand, at the hour hand, and the second hand, they go up to the second track, which is wonderful. If you look at the indices, they are applied and they are reminiscent of the indices of the Submariners, Sea Dwellers, etc. At 3, you have got a date and you have got no Cyclops. Perfect, that's the way it's supposed to be, and that is why I like the Sea Dweller. This is the aesthetic I like. I would have loved better lume, but this is not too bad. I would have loved that the indices be at least as bright as the hands, and then we would be talking. The bezel insert is ceramic and it is not lumed, but like the bezel on the Sea Dwellers, it is graduated at every second, which is a nice aesthetic change from the Submariner. If you go to the finish, on top of the lugs you have got a brushed finish, and on the flanks you have got a brushed finish. And very nicely at the back of the watch you have got a ray which is embossed, and very nicely embossed. It is not very deep, but it's deep enough. And you have got, of course, the 300-meter water resistant. The crown is signed with their new Pagani Design logo. Let's talk about this rubber strap. And the rubber strap is pretty flexible, and as I told you before, you have these parts which are pretty solid and which takes this dimension to 55 millimeters. Inside the bracelet you have got the Pagani design, the Pagani design on both parts of the rubber strap. So a very nice and supple strap. And the buckle is stainless steel, it is brushed, all the way brushed, and it is signed. A very nice buckle. Let's see quickly how this bezel rotates. Interesting. As you can hear, it is pretty loud, and yeah, there's backplay, but it's much better than the first Submariners. Not as good as the 1631, but not bad. It is hard to say. It appears to line up. Tell me what you think. It is refreshing to see a watch that for once homages the Sea Dweller and not once again the Submariner. So that is very nice. Of course, this watch is for the bigger wristed gentleman, but even so, if you've got a wrist of 17, let's say 17 and a half, even my small 16 and a half wrist can handle it, you can handle this watch. And if it pleases you, I have left a link in the description below, so you can go ahead and check it if this watch interests you. In the meantime, I wish you all the best, and I'll be seeing you very soon in the next review. Goodbye.